The pre-painted GT350 style spoiler from Speedform is a really sharp option for the 2015 and newer fastback owners out there who might be looking to recreate that modern Shelby swing styling while also enjoying some of the benefits of a pre-painted part. Now, the Speedform spoiler is packing that automotive grade ABS plastic build throughout and does include everything needed for the installation, all for that high $300 price point. So even though the Speedform spoiler here is called the GT350 style spoiler, the reality is it can be found both on the newer GT350 along with that badass GT500, where Ford affectionately refers to this thing as the swing. Part spoiler, part wing, and 100% awesome. Now, in my opinion, guys, this is easily one of the best looking factory produced spoilers in a long time on a Mustang. And in fact, I still remember seeing this for the very first time when we were in Detroit with the video team shooting a media drive for the 2019 GT350 and just commenting on how huge the aftermarket response will be for this particular swing. And sure enough, judging by the overwhelming number of positive reviews back on the customer submitted images and review page, I'm certainly not that far off. But this thing is more than just a pretty face, right? Ford's OE version of the swing was able to produce 135 pounds of downforce at 120 miles an hour without the optional handling pack gurney flap that basically just added a bit more meat to the back portion of the spoiler. And while yes, this option I would say is going to be an appearance mod first, I would also assume some of those downforce benefits would also carry over to the Speedform option that we're talking about here today. Again, this thing has been made from that durable automotive grade ABS plastic and has been built and designed using OEM Ford CAD data, which is basically going to result in a near perfect fit for any S550 fastback at home. Now, the site does say this will not work on convertible S550 cars out there without modification. Yes, I've seen some drop top S550 owners comment in the review section that they have made this thing work, but just know it does take some additional modification and will not be a 100% bolt-on part. Last but not least, one of the best things about the Speedform here, besides that radical styling, is the fact that this thing is available pre-painted, ready to match your ride right out of the box. Now, there's no waiting for parts at the paint shop, only to hope they match your ride once you pick them up. Instead, Speedform is going to spray your spoiler or swing here with the same base and clear coat that Ford uses on their Mustangs, so you can expect a near perfect color match right out of the box. But now we want to segue into the install, and the site is going to call this a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and at least a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. I will say one of the most time consuming parts about this install will be removing that factory adhesive from your factory spoiler if your car is equipped. But nevertheless, to give you a better idea of just how this will go down on your S550 at home, here's an AM customer to walk you through the job right now.
Here are all the tools you will need for this install. First, you're going to need a 10mm socket wrench. I used a magnetic bit that I just got on Amazon. I would highly recommend getting this so you don't drop the bolts into the trunk. I also use my own M6 hex bolt. These are M6 by 18 with a washer. Next, I use these plastic scraper tools to remove the deck lid from the trunk. You can get these at like Harbor Freight. They're super cheap. I also use this one to pry off the plastic pins on the tool in the liner. Next, I used a microfiber towel along with these scraper tools so I didn't scratch the trunk. And then these are the homemade blocks I used to keep a spacer in between the trunk and the adhesive on the spoiler while I got the bolts in. They're just little 1x2 blocks of wood wrapped in paper towels so I don't scratch the paint. And I use masking tape to tape those down. I also use Goo Gone to get the old adhesive off. And then lastly, I used alcohol prep wipes to wipe down the trunk before I put on the new spoiler. The first thing we gotta do is we gotta take off the factory deck lid. And to do that, you're gonna have to take this liner off. And to be able to get to these 4 bolts, you have to take these. These just kind of pop off. those two, and then you unscrew these. And pull this off. You want to be careful, but it does kind of take a little bit of force. Pop that off. And then I'm going to use this plastic panel removal tool to pry each one of these little pins out. And these should just pop right out. You want to be careful not to break them. You could probably also do this with a flathead screwdriver. So now, thread this back through. And the liner is removed. Next, you're going to want to take a 10mm socket and come take out these two bolts inside here. You want to be careful not to drop them into the trunk panel because it'll rattle around and it'll be a pain to get out. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen these almost all the way. And then once they get close, you do the rest by hand to make sure not to drop them. One. And then we're going to need to take out these. And same thing, be careful you don't drop them in. For this, I'm going to be using a magnetic 10mm socket bit to try to keep it from falling through the trunk. So. Another trick you can do is when it's getting close, you can put this down a little bit. This way. And do the rest by hand. You want to be very careful. Like that. And then you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side over here. The rest by hand. And just like that. All 4 bolts are out. Once you have all 4 bolts out, then you're going to want to get a plastic scraper tool and separate the adhesive from the spoiler and the trunk. I'm also going to be using a microfiber towel to avoid scratching the paint. So you want to come in here and separate the adhesive. You'll be able to feel it. You can use a heat gun or hair dryer, but it's pretty hot here, so mine's already pretty loose. But you just work your way around, and you'll feel once you get through it. And just take your time not to scratch or pull up on the spoiler so you don't damage or dent your trunk. Work your way all the way around. And then use the towel. And come in on the inside. Same thing. So with that, you should be able to gently lift up. It should pop off. So then once you have that off, you'll see there's a lot of adhesive stuck on here. You're going to want to scrape and clean all this off so that this is a fresh surface to put the new spoiler on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So now I've cleaned off the entire top part of the trunk, got all the adhesive off, so it's a nice clean surface. These blocks you see here, I handmade because there are no alignment posts on the new spoiler like the original deck lid. So it's going to be a little tricky to line up the holes before you put the adhesive down. So what these blocks do is they're just resting on the trunk. They leave a gap from the adhesive in the trunk so that it doesn't get stuck down. And then that way I can go ahead in with the bolts and tighten them just a little bit to get it started so I know it's lined up. Then I'm going to take these blocks out and press the adhesive onto the trunk and then fully tighten the bolts. So now you're going to want to take off all the backing on the adhesive on the other side of the spoiler and rest it on these blocks. And I'm using my own hex bolts. They're M6 by 40. These are just so I can use my magnetic socket bit so I know I won't be able to drop it into the trunk. And also these are a little bit longer so that with that gap the block creates, I can still line these up and get enough thread in so I know they're lined up. You can still use the bolts that came with it. They'll work just fine. And then also once I get it lined up and I get the adhesive stuck on, I'm going to be swapping these out for M6 by 18 with washers, and those will be the final bolts that hold on the spoiler. So I already have the outer two ones in, they're lined up, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the middle two in. And this is where having someone else is going to come in handy to kind of hold everything in alignment. So I'm going to carefully put in the two center bolts by hand. Once they're threaded, I know they're in. Move to the next one. You want to still be careful not to drop them. Now that I have all four in, you can go ahead and remove the blocks. And then now you're going to want to carefully lower the spoiler into the adhesive. And push down. So it's all lined up. Make sure it sets. And then now the spoiler's on there. You can go in, take out the longer bolts, and put in the shorter ones with washers. So once you have all four bolts in, your spoiler is completely fastened down. We are just going to do what we did to start in reverse to put the trunk liner back on. So you're going to want to feed this back through. Put on this piece. On. Screw these back in. And then put all these plastic push pins back in. And the rubber inserts over the bolts. And you're done.
So wrapping this one up, guys, if you're looking to emulate one of the coolest factory spoilers produced and take advantage of the convenience of a pre-painted part, then you have to check out Speedform's option right here at AmericanMuscle.com.